What's going on, y'all? KM Best here. We're here to talk about a deck that I like playing when I'm in the middle of tilt spirals because it is just good. I played about 55 games of it. We had a 60% win rate over those 55 games, and it only has one card in Series 4 or 5, and you don't even really need it. That's right, it's good old Shuri. It is just a good enough deck to continually keep you climbing up the ranks. It is a very, very powerful, very straightforward deck. Although I will say, after playing Loki and Bounce for so long, I was making some simple mistakes with this that if you can avoid, you can maybe even do better than my win rate with. That is a very good thing. Now, the one card that I know I'm going to get questions about is Echo. Echo is in here because there's a lot of, Darkhawk, Professor X, Miss Marvel type stuff. Turning that off in a lane is very important. Just making it so they can't really do the things that they want to do in the middle lane even is just good enough. Knowing that they can't play a Darkhawk somewhere, knowing that they can't play a Miss Marvel in the middle, knowing that they can't play a Professor X in the middle, that helps you win games. That said, I don't think she's required at all. You could run Enchantress here, you could run a Nebula here. I will say I've really enjoyed having that third one-cost card in the deck because a lot of your final turns end up being 5+1, and I think having that extra card that you can just play out on those turns is very, very good. Even if it's not a big body, it's just a little bit. It's just enough to make it work. Now, the other card that you're going to be asking about is America Chavez, and yes, if you want to play Eliath instead of America Chavez, feel free. I'm running America Chavez because my best hands are almost always Armor and Shuri or Armor and Sauron. Those are the hands that you want to be aggressively snapping on unless your opponent is showing something that's scary even when those hands are happening. Those are the sort of peak hands that the deck can get, and you really, really, really want them to be happening as much as possible. One thing that I think people have as a misconception about this deck is that Sauron isn't that good, or that it's not as good as getting Shuri. I honestly think that Sauron is exactly as good as Shuri is if you get it on turn 3. Exactly as good. It is extremely powerful. This is a deck with 2 Shuris. One of them is Sauron, one of them is Shuri. You want to be playing at least one of them every single game. America Chavez makes that happen. Echo is here mostly because she's a one-cost card, and as a one-cost card, this is a deck that really doesn't need a lot out of the ones because its power is so extreme in the 4, 5, 6 range. Your ones can just kind of be stuff that does other stuff, right? Another card you could play here, I think that would be pretty good is just Iceman, right? You just want a card that might do something. I think Echo is a little bit better, but it's definitely not a situation where you need to go buy Echo for this. One other issue that Echo has is Echo gives you some issues with when your opponents play Loki, because then they get things like Red Skull and Typhoid Mary, which normally have significant downsides for them, but they can just play them into the Echo lane. That's a big problem, and you do want to avoid that if at all possible. So there is some argument for simply not playing Echo, playing Iceman instead, playing whatever it is you want in that slot, Titania, whatever it is. You can go a bunch of different ways with it. But I'm using Echo here because I am paying a lot of respect to Darkhawk decks and to Miss Marvel decks, and sometimes those are the same decks. Zero is a 1/3 at base and turns off Typhoid Mary and, of course, Red Skull, in addition to Sauron doing the same thing. Sometimes you don't have Sauron, you're going to need to do that. Now, Zero ends up being a lot more of a turn 6 play than most. So let's say you don't have Taskmaster, you went for a Shuri Vision, your final turn ends up being Zero Red Skull a lot of the time. But it can also be a little bit of an early play in the form of turning off Lizard or turning off Ebony Maw on turn 3. Now, one thing you don't want to do is leave a Zero up without a very concrete idea of what you're going to hit with it. So zeroing something is usually good. If you know if you don't have Shuri in hand and you want to zero a Typhoid Mary, just make sure you're not going to be too upset if you draw the Shuri and then you're sad that it doesn't work. Just make sure about that first, because a lot of the time saving this guy for the final turn of the game is actually pretty useful because you can go 5+1. And this deck is a deck that a lot of people are able to play against because they know that you're likely only to play one thing on the final turn of the game. And so when you can change that paradigm, either by holding a 0 or by playing Sauron into Ebony Maw, the deck ends up being much, much stronger. Do not play this guy if he has an ability. End of story. Don't do it. You're only going to play him if you can 0 him or if you have Sauroned him. Do not play him just because it's turn 3 and you feel like you're not going to get anything out of it. You could still draw Sauron. Don't do it. That said, this guy's a 1/7 after Sauron. And like, this is the card. This is the reason why I talk about this deck having 2 Shuris. Because playing an Ebony Maw alongside a 5/14 Red Skull on the final turn of the game is just good. That is just a ton of numbers. That is 6 energy for 21 stats. That's more than a Doctor Doom. That's a ton of numbers there. It's very, very powerful, and it is worth respecting. Armor is your best turn 2 play by an insane amount. Like, armor is unbelievable on turn 2 and pretty terrible the rest of the game. Now, I know people are going to be asking, why are you playing armor in your Sauron deck? And the answer is, once you hit turn 3, you're not playing armor anyway. I think it happened like once or twice over the course of the entire time I played this deck that I was playing armor after turn 2. This is a turn 2 play. You play it in the lane that you want to Shuri, and that does get a little bit of mind games, right? Because your opponent probably knows that. They know they want to start contesting that lane or not contesting that lane, which can then change where you want to be playing the Shuri. Lizard is a 2/5. No, Lizard is a 2/5. If you wanted to play Jeff, I wouldn't be opposed. I think Jeff over Lizard is actually like a totally defensible, if not even outright good decision to make. But I don't think there's much to be lost from playing Lizard here over Jeff. A 2/5 is pretty damn solid, and your 2s end up being a little bit more important because you know how sometimes your final turn is 5+1? Well, sometimes it's 4+2, meaning, you know, Typhoid Mary plus this guy. Shuri number 2 is here. This guy is your best turn 3 play and maybe the best play in the game when you play him on turn 3. I don't think people really grasp that he's about as good as Shuri is, but he is about as good as Shuri is, and I want to be clear about that. This guy on 3 is unbelievable. It should be a snap condition. Like, if you play this guy on 3 and armor on 2, you're probably snapping most of the time. Shuri is one of the most powerful cards in Series 3 in the entirety of the game Marvel Snap. What she's doing here is doubling the power of some big guys so that we can copy that power with a Taskmaster. And of course, in that way, she ends up being something along the lines of like a 420, right? Like, if you credit her with the extra power from both the Red Skull and the Taskmaster, you could argue she's like a 429. Extremely strong just on numbers, and definitely worth picking up if she's in your free Series 3 slot. Typhoid Mary is part of what makes your Sauron so powerful. If you end up cutting Typhoid Mary, you end up making your Sauron a bit worse, which sometimes that's worth it, but genuinely, just a 410 is a pretty good number. Again, I talked about how sometimes your final turns are 5+1, sometimes they're 4+2 with this and Lizard. That's 15 stats. That's nothing to sneeze at. Like, it's not overwhelming, but it can win you a game, especially in concert with something like a Shuried Vision. Taskmaster is core to most Shuri strategies because when you double something, the best way to ensure that you get extra value out of it is doubling it again. And that is fundamentally what this deck is about doing. You play Shuri on 4, you play something with doubled power on 5, you copy that doubled power with Taskmaster, and hopefully that's just too many stats for your opponent to deal with. Vision is really good, but I think people can often fall into a trap of playing Vision to feel smart, rather than just playing one really big guy and saying, look, if you beat this Red Skull, I die, but I don't think you can beat this Red Skull. Because I think if you are so afraid of playing a Red Skull that you think your opponent is going to beat it, you're like, oh, I can't expose myself to that. Well, you're probably losing with the Vision play too. So unless you have something specific in mind, generally default to Red Skull. That said, I outsmart myself like this a lot. I tend to play a little bit cowardly, go for the Vision instead, because it leaves so many more options open on the final turn, but I would not be surprised if it turned out just playing the Red Skull was a better option a lot of the time. There needs to be a very specific reason why you don't do for the Red Skull stuff. Red Skull's large and in charge, and Shuri makes him larger and in charger. And of course, you know, with Sauron, he ends up just being a 5/14. And that's sort of why Sauron ends up so good in the deck. Obviously, if you get both of them, it's kind of ridiculous. But even if you only get one of them, this guy ends up being just a huge beater. With Shuri, he's like 20 because, you know, you assume they fill it up. They get 8 stats out of that. Plus, there's a potential for Taskmaster. Without Shuri, I mean, you Sauron into, like, some good stuff, and then your final turn is this plus Ebony Maw. Very, very strong. America Chavez can be flexed out of this list if you are interested in playing something like Alioth or Doctor Doom. I'm not inherently opposed to that. I just think that right now I am much more focused on getting my Sauron down, getting my Shuri down, and trying to take the win from there. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this look at one of my favorite decks for when I'm down. It'll get me back up. I hope you liked it. We're going to jump into some gameplay here. Thank you so much for making it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. As always, I've been KM Best. Remember, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I will see you in the next one. 1-8. It was terrible. Lady Deathstrike Destroy, they won't see it coming. Yo. Whoa, they snapped me? They snapped me after blowing up a nebula. What's going on? This is Galactus, right? We've righted the ship, chat. Was it TLDR on the Conquest Etiquette? Snap and Proving Grounds? That's really all it was. That's the whole thing. Oh, that's annoying. Am I just dead here? I feel like I probably am, but I do have like a potential for Shuri into some enormous bullshit here. So I think I'm supposed to stay and then just see if I can Shuri into some enormous... Thank you. Solid. So now I am... 50% to get Red Skull here. God, never lucky. Actually, never lucky. Never lucky, but draws Red Skull. Okay, like sometimes kind of lucky. I don't know. I still feel like I'm dying here is the thing. That one kills 0, which is good because we need that space. The next one pulls America Chavez. Ah, went middle. All right, fair enough. Oh, 0-0's task. Wait, am I fucking dead then? Wait, no, okay, I've got an idea. It's a really bad idea. No, it's 0. The 0 hit Red Skull? Okay, I'm good. Yeah, he can have null, right? So because he can have null, I'm supposed to do this. Oh, you coward. I'll play. Yeah, I'm good. This Echo might be just absolutely game winning here. Like if you Ravona me, that also gets pulled though. I mean, like, do we go for the big one? feel like we have to. Well, let's see what happens. We're locked in. Eliath is not real. And Taskmaster dead? What? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. For fuck's sake. Why did I do that? Jesus Christ. The entirety of the rest of our hand wins that game? Oh my god, the pain is intense. Oh my god. That armor's in the wrong place. Snipe? I mean, yeah, he probably was, but that's beside the point. Fuck it. I feel like I doubt they win here. Won't the second task copy Maw now? Yeah, I don't know if I care. Like, am I wrong? Oh, zero task. That's a good point. That's a good point, yeah. Good point, chat. Great point, chat. I hope this works. Haha, 64! Holy shit. Chat redeeming me from the previous play. The previous play is under further review. GG, that zero Taskmaster play was cool. If only I came up with it. Chat redeeming me. This one's going on the YouTube. That one's going on YouTube, baby. Golem, get out of here. See, this is another person who is in my chat right now. What an incredible thing that one out of the very rare amounts of people is in my chat right now. Who could have... Is that possible? That can't be right. Are you telling me that people are in my chat? Impossible. Impossible, I say. It's almost as if the small community of top players both plays and watches Snap. It is almost like that, yes. Okay, so if they play, what's his face? The Living Tribunal is 9, so they will go to 30, 36. That's 12 everywhere. Which we beat by doing this. Okay, they didn't do it. Nice. I mean, they know I have Echo, right? Don't worry. God damn it, no! Once again, I am baited into playing Echo left. Pain. Draw Sauron on 3. Ugh. All right, what's our fucking 6s? What we getting? Okay. We're getting Shang-Chi'd here, correct? Order? No. We're getting Shang-Chi'd, right? We're getting Shang-Chi'd, correct? Shang is killing Skull, correct. Yeah. The fuck? We just won. We were so afraid of the Widow's Bite. Yo, we would have won even if Werewolf didn't jump. $20? Ooh. I guess because he didn't have the guy. Damn, that's a shame. If we got priority here, we could have moved the guy to turn off the Quinjet that is. Echo was the fear. Echo's so good. Echo's so good. What the fuck? She's beast mode. Beast mode. Isn't this draw snap-worthy? Against a really good Loki player, I'm not really sure anything is. We're missing Taskmaster or Vision or Ebony Maw, one of the cards that would feel like these are the cards that I would feel really comfortable with in this situation. See, that's bad. That's real bad. The Vision seems helpful here. Just makes it harder to play against us. He can Red Skull, right? He sure can. He sure can. Exclamation point Gladiator for that one, Bogsters. This is such an awkward turn. So if I'm him, it's like you go Red Skull here, but you probably already have everything small. It's an interesting spot, honestly. And they do like... Oh my god. Chat? Chat? Ye old mind games, chat. We did it. We remembered the cookie and we won. Ye old, just put the fucking cookie up and make some plays, baby.